Hey guys, Hitman89 here, I hope you're doing great. Last week we had the best online games, make sure to check out the video if you haven't already. And today, I'm gonna show you the best PC games of 2023 so far. To make sure everyone can find something they like here, half these games run on low-end computers and the other half require a beast of a gaming PC. Without further ado, let's start with the first game. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a gruesome, roguelike turn-based RPG where you'll have to make some complex, strategic decisions if you ever want to beat the game. Seriously, this game is tough. I formed a balanced party, got in the stagecoach, and set off to the mountains where the origin of evil is. I was doing great until I made a wrong turn and ended up on a path full of obstacles. Like, literally. So the stagecoach wheels got destroyed and I had to repair them while fighting off a group of enemies. Somehow, everyone made it out alive, but they took too much damage early on into the expedition, so they ended up dying and I had to start over. The good news is, even after a failed run, you usually get enough candles of hope to unlock new heroes and upgrade the ones you have, which will make the next run easier. Darkest Dungeon 2 has been in early access since October 2021, and it just had its full release. So if you like it when a game ties you down and kicks you in the nuts, get this one. Now if you have a decent PC or a console and you want to play a more approachable game, then you should check out Diablo 4. Although it's an online-only game, you can play it solo, or you could play with up to 3 friends and have some more fun. There's no split-screen support on PC though, and honestly, that sucks dick. At the moment of making this video, Diablo 4 is in open beta, but a few days after it's out, I'll drop my full review video, so stay tuned. I tried a couple of classes when I played solo, Barbarian and Druid, but I had way more fun when I played with my brother. He played Necromancer, I played Barbarian, and together, we fucked shit up. Let's be honest, it was mostly him because the Necromancer is OP. Oh, and there are tons of customization options when creating a character, and I think it's pretty cool how you get to see your character in the in-game cutscenes. Diablo 4 is an open world game, by the way. That's why later on, you'll unlock the ability to ride mounts. Regardless of the new features, I'm really glad Diablo is back to its dark origins, and it's not some cartoony looking shit anymore. The game is really fun to play, and it gets addictive super quick. It's a must-have. Let's move on to the third one. Back when System Shock came out, I was 5, so I was probably playing Super Mario Bros. 1. Needless to say, my first time playing System Shock 1 is through this remake, which as you can see has a retro art style, and that's probably a good thing for those of you who have a low-end PC, cause you'll be able to play it. This action-adventure game will have you fighting robots and zombies on a spaceship, so it's got a little bit of survival horror in it. But the combat doesn't feel good. Half the time, you can't tell if you hit the enemy or not, as there is no impact sound and the enemies don't get staggered. I hope they fix it. If you're still on the fence, just download the demo and see for yourself, cause I'm done talking about this game. And in case you haven't noticed, I've been alternating between games for low-end and high-end computers on this list. So at number 4 we have another remake, except this one looks insane. Whether you played the original Resident Evil 4 or not, you need to play the remake. I beat it in around 18 hours, cause I took my time with it. I did most of the merchant's requests, and I've also spent a decent amount of time in the shooting range, even though you probably can't tell just by looking at my shitty aim in all these clips. So, on this game you play as Leon Kennedy, and your mission is to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley, who got kidnapped somewhere in Spain. If you played the original, you'll be happy to know you can finally aim and move now. You can also use your knife to parry, and stealth can be a good approach to save ammo. Speaking of saving ammo, shooting zombies in the face or in the legs and then finishing them with a kick or a suplex is the smart thing to do here. Otherwise, you'll quickly run out of ammo and you won't be able to deal with the overwhelming waves of zombies that'll get more powerful and resistant as you progress through the game. Since this is a Resident Evil game, you'll come across a few puzzles here and there, and you'll have to do some back and forth to get the items you need to unlock certain doors. Visually speaking, I think we can all agree that this remake looks sick. I mean, apart from the disgusting low-res textures. Now let's move on to the 5th game. At first glance, Dredge might seem like a slightly boring fisherman simulator, but it's actually interesting, fun to play, and even highly addictive, cause apart from catching and selling fish to pay for your boat upgrades, there are plenty of quests to do, and most importantly, you'll have to deal with a big variety of sea monsters that can wreck your ship in no time. You'll also come across some shady characters like the guy who lives on this island and that'll have you looking for weird relics with mysterious powers. Oh, and there's this dude who asks for specific types of fish just to rip their hearts out. Like I said, a lot of weirdos here, but the game is excellent, so give it a shot if you can. Keep in mind you can beat it in less than 10 hours though, so if you want something that'll keep you busy for weeks, you should take a look at Wartales. On this game, you play as a band of mercenaries in a post-plague medieval world, and you'll have to survive by any means necessary. You can be a hero and help others even when there is no reward, or if you're feeling a little naughty, you could be a thief and a murderer. Some of the options you get here allow you to be an absolute piece of shit, and I love it. Wartales is incredibly deep. There is a profession system, but each mercenary can only have one job at a time, so you can craft all kinds of items, some of which you can use to improve and customize your camp. To keep your mercenaries happy, you have to feed them and pay them every time you rest. When it comes to the combat, it's an XCOM style system, and I know that's a turnoff for people who don't like turn-based tactical combat, but I dig it. Wartales is super addictive, and it even has online co-op, so it's worth every penny. Another game that's got an excellent value for money is Torchlight Infinite, cause it's free. It's also similar to Diablo 4 and Path of Exile, except it's much faster. Well, it's not just faster, it's also infinitely worse. At least it runs on 10-year-old computers, there are 6 classes to choose from, and like I said, it's free. So if you like fast-paced ARPGs, you might want to give this one a shot. Now let's take a look at a way better game. After nearly 3 years in early access, Baldur's Gate 3 is finally getting a full release on August 31st. It looks and feels like Divinity, which is not surprising considering it's made by the same studio. Your first objective in Baldur's Gate 3 is to get rid of the tadpole that was inserted in your head, and that will eventually turn you into a mind flayer. I like how creative the combat can be here thanks to the interactive environments. For example, if you see oil on the floor, you can lure your enemies there and then use the flame and arrow to set them on fire. And that's just one insignificant example out of the hundreds of possibilities this game has to offer. I can't wait to play the full release on PS5 because my PC can't handle it properly. Speaking of which, the 8th game also runs on Switch, and when you look at it, you might think it could even run on PS1. And you wouldn't be wrong. In all seriousness though, Octopath Traveler 2 is as good as the first one. Actually, it's pretty much the same game with 8 new stories. So I don't know if you want to pick it up now or wait for it to be on sale. But one thing's for sure, Octopath Traveler 2 is very fun to play and highly replayable, just like the 10th game on my list. Age of Wonders 4 is a 4X game with an incredible amount of customization. However, it doesn't have a campaign, and that's a bummer. On the bright side though, no two games are the same here. You can obviously build cities and expand your civilization, there are diplomacy options. Oh, and for some reason, selecting your units doesn't always seem to work properly. I've had quite a few misclicks, so maybe there's an issue there, or maybe I'm just blind. Now before I let you guys go, here are a few games that didn't make the list but are still worth checking out. Dead Island 2 is in my opinion way better than Dying Light 2. It's fun from the get-go, it looks awesome, and it doesn't have a drop-in drop-out system, so everyone who plays online get to keep their progress. If you like Rick and Morty, you have to play High on Life. The gameplay is far from being breathtaking, but the whole game is hilarious, so you have to play it. And just to make this video future-proof, I'ma name a few games that are still planned for 2023, starting with Starfield, which hopefully won't disappoint. There's also Alan Wake 2 and Stalker 2. I didn't put Star Wars Jedi Survivor, The Last of Us Part 1, the Dead Space remake, and Hogwarts Legacy on this because they have some serious stuttering and overall optimization issues on PC. Anyway, let me know if you found a couple of good games to play or if this video made you laugh or smile. If that's the case, a thumbs up and a subscription would mean a lot. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.
For the pay stub or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh. Fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up. Play the game, bruh.